So let's start with the implementation of a Spark RDD. So I have imported the Pyspark, and from Pyspark I have created the Spark session. Once the Spark session is created, you can see that the version of Spark is 3.5.1, and you can see that if I execute the active session, we are able to get the active session of Spark 3.5.1. First, to create the RDD, we have to create the Spark context. So we can create a Spark context using a spark.spark context. It will give me the Spark context here. Now let's create an RDD. Generally, if you want to create a list in normal Python, we can use the range function, and we pass the start parameter and end parameter. And if we want to have some other options as well, like if I want to create alternate numbers like 11, 13, something like that, you can pass on the step over here, like I have passed 2. Similarly, if we want to create an RDD using range function, we can pass on the number of records that we want, and it will create the records starting from 0. And since we are passing 20, it will create from 0 till 19. So if I run this, and if we see the type of the RDD, it will say that the data type is pyspark.rdd.pipelined.rdd. Similarly, if we do a type on list, it will give us that the data type is list. Now to get the results of what Spark RDD range function created, you can use the collect function. When I run this collect, you can see that the number starting from 0 till 19 is now available. If you want to create a RDD for a varying range like from 10 to 20 and a step of 3, you can just pass the number over here, like from starting from 10 till 20 and at a step of 3. So if I run this, you will see that the number starting from 10 at a step of 3, like 10, 3, 16 and 19 is now created. You will see that the number starting from 10 at a step of 3, like 10, 3, 16 and 19 is now created. So this was one way to create an RDD. We can also create an RDD using an existing list. So let's say we want to create an employee RDD. You can create the RDD with the list of tuples, where you can pass on the details of the employee as each tuple. So if you see over here, we have the RDD of employees with 3 records. So if I run this, this will create me a list. If you see over here, the type is list. Now if I want to create an RDD using this list, I can pass on it into sc.parallelize function. So if I run this now, you will see that the type is an RDD. In sc.parallelize, I have passed the list. So this is how you can create an RDD using list. And if I want to apply some operation on this RDD like count, I'll do rdd.amp.count. It will give me the count of records. We can see that we have created 3 records over here, and these 3 records are available in this particular count function. We can also store this particular count into some variable. So like I have stored it in emp_count, and you can use this particular variable wherever you want. Now let's apply some more operations on this RDD. So there is a function called first that we can apply on RDD. It will give me the first element from that RDD. So if I do emp first, then you can see that the first element was Adam, 26. Since the first element is Adam, 26, we can see that this is now stored in this particular variable. This is a tuple. So whenever I want to apply some operation, you can use the tuple functions, like emp first 0 will give me the first element, and emp first 1 will be giving me the second element. So there is one function called as collect, which can be used to collect the RDDs from different nodes to the driver node. If we see the example over here, that we have a driver node and we have a worker node. All the data is available in the worker node. If I want this particular information in the driver node, then we have to apply the collect operation. Remember that driver memory would be quite low, like of the order of 10 GB or 20 GB. But if you are going to apply collect on the huge data set, which is greater than the size of the driver, then there would be an out of memory exception. So whenever you are using the huge data set for transformation, then you have to avoid using the collect operation. Now to use the collect, you can use rdd amp.collect. It will give me the Python list of tuples, And if I want to apply any operation on this particular Python list, like a for loop, and if you want to print some elements, you can use the collect first, and then since it is a list, you can iterate over it. So you can now see that in this particular scenario, I have written print. I wanted to create a string using the hyphen between two elements of this particular tuple. So you can now see that the print statement gives me Adam-26, similarly Jack-25, and Rachel-29. If you want to use the list comprehension, we can also use that. You can see that we have used the list comprehension on the output of rdd.collect, and we have picked only the name from that particular list. So instead of using a collect, if I want to get a sample, like I want to get 10 records, you can use rdd.take10, and it will give me the 10 records from the RDD. Since we only have 3 records, we can see that 3 records are written from the take10 function. If I say take1, then it will provide me only 1 record.